Good morning, good evening, good noon, and good night. I hope you guys are doing well this evening. Oh, Lord, if this is your first time chiming in, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And hopefully something will be said. Well, I know it will, that will encourage you, that will inspire you, that will enlighten you, and get you back on the right track just in case you're off. This channel is built for that. It's built to let you know that you're not alone. Whatever you're going through, somebody's been through it already, or they're coming out of it, or they're going to go through it. And we'd love to hear your story as well. So reach out to me at DTM Real Talk and let me hear your story. But anyway, the questions that came in this afternoon and yesterday were about forgiveness. Well, guys, I just want to tell you that forgiveness is not for the individual. It's for you. Now, we did a clip on this some time ago, maybe a year, but just take a listen at this. Forgiveness is for you.
One of the things that I wanted to, you touched on, and you really dealt with, releasing the offender,
Uh-huh.
releasing the offender, and that one I think is so intricate. You did say that was hard.
Yeah, it is
You
very
said it was
difficult.
hard,
Yeah.
but and I'm gonna tell you why I asked that, because the question was, or a situation was posed to me, that if I was offended against it, if he offended me,
Uh-huh.
that he would expect me to forgive him. And if I forgave him, I would not bring the issue up at all. And I would forget it as if it never happened. Now, I know that is the essence of what forgiveness is. But
Uh-huh.
I felt it was unfair because he didn't give me chance, one, to process. It
Uh-huh.
was I was supposed to just automatically act like it didn't happen.
Didn't happen. Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, how does that work? I mean, I really thought he was being unfair in that he could offend me in any way, but I didn't have the opportunity to hurt, be angry, and so
Uh-huh.
on and so forth.
Okay. Okay. I just read a post and I'm going to answer that with this post I just read on Facebook.
Okay.
I thought it was, I hope I can find it. Just because I want to find it, I can't find it. But give me a second here. Forgiveness doesn't mean that I forgot about it totally. I don't remember it. That's insanity. Okay.
Right.
Um, it doesn't mean that I don't acknowledge that it happened. And
Hmm.
I'm gonna find this post right quick. I want to. Where is it? Where is this post right quick? Ah, Lord, let's see.
Yes, you got to find that post, because I
I have
mean,
to.
I I thought he had some nerve, or some audacity to say, well, if he offended me and I was to forgive him, I was supposed to forget it. And he never wanted to hear it again. But I think he wanted to see. He said that because he did not want to feel the effects of what he had done.
Right.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I do. And what I do understand is that forgiveness is not for the individual.
Right. Okay.
Forgiveness is for you. Okay.
Yes.
So, like I said before, it's an intentional decision to let go of the anger and resentment toward whoever it is that you're dealing with. Right.
Right. Okay.
So now that person, obviously, they need to feel some kind of remorse or, yeah, some kind of remorse for their actions or for what they did or said or whatever the case is. Now, if they don't, that's merely on
Mm,
them.
okay.
Forgiveness is for you.
Got you.
So you do what you need to do by releasing that individual. And if you have to say it again to remind yourself of it, not throwing it at him though, but you
Right.
acknowledge it. A lot of times I use examples, past examples, which I have even on this show, to share with individuals the process of my forgiveness journey. So it
Okay.
doesn't say that you forget it. I'm not going to forget what you did, but I'm not going to harp on it either. You know,
Right, right.
I'm not going to harp on it either because I'm trying to find this post. Where is it?
Because shouldn't I, and maybe this is harping on it, but shouldn't I have time, a little, at least a little time to be angry?
Well, it's a process, remember?
Yeah.
It's a process. You can't pretend that everything is all right.
Right.
Okay. That it didn't happen, but you are to release them of that charge. And
Okay.
it's normal for you and I as individuals, as people, as human beings. We feel anger. It's a God-given emotion, but you're not supposed to allow it to overtake you. That's where the problem comes.
I got it.
When
Okay.
it
I got it.
overtakes
I
you.
got it.
That's where the problem.
Gotcha. Right, right. Because it will overtake you.
It
It
can.
will.
It
It
can.
will.
Now, there are a few signs of unforgiveness that you haven't done it. You know, pretending that everything is all right. You know, you think
Right.
all over it. You hear some people say, "Well, as a matter of fact, this week I like to make it personal because I deal with this every day. This week
Okay.
I had an individual that really um was offended by me, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and the reason I know it is because they didn't tell me. Their attitude showed me
Okay.
that they were offended by me. Now, did I do anything wrong? No, I didn't. But to them, they took my behavior as took my behavior, a right behavior that I portrayed, offensive.
Okay.
So because I saw that, you know me, cousin, I'm that individual.
Yeah.
You can't deal with unforgiveness without communication.
Right, right.
And because I'm authentic and I'm real, what you see is
Uh,
what you get, guys. You know that.
right.
I can't if I know that you're offended with me or I sense that you're offended by something that I did or said, I can't just act like it's all right.
I got you.
I'm
Right.
probably going to come to you and I'm
Yeah.
going to say, did I do something wrong? Or
Yes.
if I sense I know what it is you're offended by,
Uh-huh.
I may state, oh, you're offended at me because I did this or I said this. Well, what I did was I actually told the individual because of their attitude that
Uh-huh.
I'm not your enemy.
Yeah.
I'm really not your enemy. And guys, I know some of you may identify with this and some of you may not. Because I am a Christian, I'm not your enemy. It's the enemy, it's the
Right.
devil working through what it is you've taken as an offense that I've done.
Right.
And then I express it. Now, watch what I'm doing here. I said that to the individual. They didn't readily receive me at all. Now,
Okay.
the reason I know they didn't is because their attitude spoke that they didn't. Their
Yeah.
response said that they didn't. But why did I do that? It wasn't for them.
Right. Right.
It was for me
Yes.
so that I can remain humble before God, even
Mm.
even as they were prideful,
Okay.
even as they still had an attitude, even as you understand what I'm saying?
Exactly. Exactly. You know,
So,
go ahead. Go ahead, finish.
no. So I what I'm saying is that when you're dealing with unforgiveness, it's not for the other individual, it's for you.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is for you.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
the other individual want to remain in an unforgiving state, that's on them.
Yeah.
You know,
Right. Right.
you have released the offender, but your feelings, again, I say this over and over again, you release that offender, release them of their charge. I don't blame you anymore, but I still feel some kind of way. So your feelings have to catch up with the decision you just made.
Right. And you know what? What really, really hastened me, even even in this brother making this statement to me, uh, because he really had me hot. But what really put me speedily on my journey of correcting my thinking was a passage in the Bible that we quote when we quote the model prayer, which says, forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors.
Right.
So in essence, I had to think about it. If I want the Lord to forgive me, then I have to learn to forgive others. And like you
Right.
said, let my feelings catch up.
Right. You got to make the decision to do right
Yeah.
because you can,
Yes.
and not respond to what you feel. Oh Lord, I
Right. Right.
felt that. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and a couple of other signs, and like I was saying, I wanted to hit some of these signs of unforgiveness. Bursting out in anger. I said that before. So if a person is struggling with unforgiveness, that's bottling up a lot of anger, right?
Okay.
Okay, so when that anger comes out, it spews out, right? It spews out on the person that's not even guilty of causing the stress or pain. Most times
Yeah.
it's coming out on that individual. It's not even coming out on the individual that hurt me. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Those are called triggers.
Triggers, you got it.
Triggers. Triggers.
You got it.
If he, like, for instance, I'll use my good brother. When I say that, not my biological brother, y'all. He's just a
Right.
brother. But if this brother hurt me on something, you and I communicating, and you hit a trigger, then I explode. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. That's because you haven't dealt with unforgiveness. So now you have
Okay.
exploded.
Gotcha.
You haven't communicated. When you feel, and I tell people all the time, when you feel that anger start to build up like that, you have to
Okay.
be aware of the source. Remember the first step in dealing with unforgiveness: discover.
Yes.
You have to be aware of the source. If you catch yourself in the middle of an outburst, it's not ever too late to back out and to face it. Is
Okay,
not
okay, but tell me, I'm a practical kind of girl, so
okay.
you got to give me legs, and what does that look like? Okay, so I've had this outburst, and,
Uh-huh.
and what is the process practically?
I'm gonna
What
give you
does that
some
look like
legs.
when to discover? Do I stop and start thinking? What? Tell me, how does that look like? What does that look like?
You can back out from the offense, from letting the anger spew out like you can back out
Okay,
right then. You can say, you know what?
right,
Because you're feeling it before it comes as a thought and a feeling, right? Because you're about to
right,
lash out on this person. And you can feel that. Now, what I do, if it comes out, right? I'm,
okay, okay,
I'm quick to say, forgive me. Oh my God, that did not come out right. I am so sorry. Would you forgive me? I do that in a quick second.
right, right,
So now I've backed out of it. Yes, I've hurt the person probably, but I recognize what was inside of me at that point. Now,
okay,
you're saying give it legs. Do I stop and think about where it comes from right now? No, you just need to fix it.
okay,
You need to fix it right then.
yeah.
You need to fix it. Sometimes you hear people say, "Oh, that's not what I meant," and then the other person, "Well, that's what you said."
Yeah, yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
what I do is I correct it, I fix it. Now, whether they receive it or not,
All right.
it's on them.
Gotcha.
That's on them, whether they receive it or not.
Right.
Now I go into my secret place. I say,
There you go.
where did that come from?
Where did that come from? Gotcha.
Then I can think about it, pray about it. Like, oh my God. You see what I'm saying?
Right, right. Okay.
Yes.
So
So yeah,
that's how you discover.
it's never too late. And in my program, every individual is different, and everybody has a different situation.
Right.
So yours may be from your childhood, mine may be from a young adulthood, somebody else's may be from some trauma that happened to them.
Okay.
Everybody's different. And that's why when I do coach my clients, I actually get into that. I
Wow.
get in your
Okay.
head. I want to get in
Yeah.
your mind. You here for me to help you, so you got to let me in. I can't help you if you don't let me in.
Yeah.
You see
Right,
what I'm
right.
saying? So everybody's going
Okay.
to be different, but it's never too late to back out,
Yeah.
of an outburst of anger. And then one of the other signs is being impulsive. If a person has wronged me
Okay.
and I've really forgiven them, I'm not going to make snide remarks. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? I see
We
that a
call
lot.
it today. Look, we call it today throwing shade. Is that what you mean?
Yes,
Throwing
yes,
shade. Yeah.
yes. Give the good folks the example since you named it.
Yeah. For example, if um, we'll use the example of this good brother. So I'm in a conversation or whatever, and you and I are talking, and if something hurts me, whatever, and I make a snide remark, yeah, right. That's what they all say,
Something to that,
yeah,
something to
yeah,
that effect.
you're no different. Why should you be any different?
Those are
I've
like
given you a
mudslides.
charge,
Yes,
huh?
exactly, exactly.
I've given you a charge unjustly.
Yeah. So in actuality, you haven't forgiven that person. You're still yet powerless because you haven't.
Yes. Okay.
Because you haven't.
Okay.
You still
Right.
have
Right.
no power making sludge remarks because you haven't forgiven them. You haven't communicated. You haven't looked at why you feel the way you feel.
Right.
You know?
Okay. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
I tell people like, what do you do instead? You just, it's you
Yeah.
pause before you engage with that person.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
need is a moment to let your
Right.
kindness
Right.
in before you open your mouth.
Well, let me tell you. Look. I'm gonna give you a good example. The other Sunday, I was out at a restaurant, and I was with some people, and I'm expecting this thing. I'm just gonna be transparent. I was with my husband, and normally after church, he and I, we we talk before we drive off the church lot. He's asking me, okay, well, what we gonna do for dinner? Where we going? Okay, yada yada yada. Well, this day he was with one of his church preaching colleagues, and he left, and he did not ask me, what the particulars were. He just drove off. I'm like, well, what's going on? He get with his friends, and he want to do yada yada yada. Well, when I got to the restaurant, they were sitting down with my. I was all over the place. Was I all over the place? One self wanted to walk past the table, go wash my hands, sit down and eat, and go somewhere else. But I said to myself, I said, how quickly these emotions and these triggers can take place. I said to myself, Lord, I need you right now. I need you right now so I can do the right thing. I can say the right thing. I can act the right way. So I went to the bathroom, washed my hand. I went over there, sat next to my husband, and we ate, and all was well with the world. So it 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 happens so fast.
Yeah.
It can happen so fast. So that's why we need the Holy Spirit all times, if possible, to guide us. Because
Yeah.
he didn't do anything wrong,
He
you
did.
know.
He
He
didn't
didn't
do
do anything
anything
wrong.
wrong, and you build a case on him in your
That's
head
right.
based on what you felt that he should have done.
That he should have done. And my point is, like you said, sometimes these things happen, and we're quick, and sometimes if you're not careful, you don't have time to think. And if you don't have time, if you don't take time to think, you've either said something, done something unbecoming.
Right. Absolutely. And what would have been the key thing? Communication.
Communication.
That's
Yeah,
all.
that's
That's
all.
all. That's all. So yeah, so we have some of these keys. Your burst out of anger, bursting out in anger, experiencing outbursts in anger, uh,
Okay.
can signify uh
Right.
that you're still dealing with unforgiveness. What else did I say? Impulsive snide
It-
remarks. That
right.
can signify that you're dealing with unforgiveness. And also, what I come to realize too from dealing with some of my clients is that you're desperate to make that person that offended you understand how you feel. Now,
Wow. Yeah.
should they understand? Yes. But a lot of times we'll do it this way. Um, if they only knew what they did to me, if they need to say I'm sorry, that kind of conversation, you know.
Right.
And what should be done is the person may never ever apologize. They
Right. Right.
may never even recognize what they've done at
Yeah.
all. It's a time, let me see how to put this, a time tested way to prove this is to write. I think you're going to remember this, to write them a letter to write them
Okay.
a letter that you do not intend to send them. What does that make you remember?
Wow.
What does that
Wow.
make you remember back 30 years ago when we used to have these retreats and we'd write down who 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 hurt us and what they
That's
did?
right. That's
Remember that?
right. Yeah, if we were at the campfire, we would
We
burn them.
would burn it. We
We
would
would burn
burn
them.
it. Yeah, that's a true tested way, time tested way to deal with um unforgiveness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have intentions of telling that person this, but you have to write it down because it's a way of releasing it. It's a way of
Yes.
releasing the content. So I found it
Right.
very helpful myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, and another way that you can know that you are still residing in unforgiveness is
Okay.
compulsiveness.
Mm. Explain that compulsiveness. Now, tell me what's that all about?
Okay, first of all, you can't control the hurtful person. You can't.
Okay.
The person that hurt you can't control them, right?
Right.
But you can control your environment.
Mm.
Okay,
Okay.
you can control your environment. Um,
Okay.
eh, eh, so it could being compulsive could quickly become like a negative spiral of activity. This is what you might be doing. You might start checking social media 2 3 times 4 times a day. Watch this, making unnecessary purchases, just buying stuff.
Oh.
Comfort eating is one too. I
Mm.
also
Yeah.
comfort eating, um keeping your space spotless. Not saying that that's wrong, but I'm talking about excessiveness.
Okay.
Yes, these behaviors, check this out. These type of behaviors give you the impression of being in control.
Mm. Okay.
You got it? It gives you the
Wow.
impression of being in control. Okay.
Okay.
And they distract you from dealing with the heart of the problem, which is
Wow.
you hurt me. So I
Mm.
don't deal with that. So I'm going to exhibit these compulsive behaviors. I'm
Right.
comfort eating. I'm gonna just this something that I can have control of.
Yeah.
That's a person that's really dealing with unforgiveness. They never dealt with it.
Wow.
And they may not even know it. I'm just giving y'all
Right.
some of these. Yeah, I'm just giving you some of the symptoms. Okay. Just some of the symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, that's I didn't say every person that purchases
Right. Right.
stuff. No,
Right. Right. Right.
no,
Right.
no, I'm not didn't say every person. Well, I hope you got it. And next week we'll do a continuation just in case you didn't get it all, but there's much more to forgiveness than that. There's a whole process. There's a whole lot of steps. You make the initial intentional decision and everything else has to catch up. Forgiveness is intentional, guys. So I hope you got it and we'll check out right now and we will see you guys next week. Have an amazing rest of your evening.